Today, I'm just going to do a kind of recap. Okay, if I say recap, I'm going to play. People will be talking on the Chicago saga. Okay, um, I'm going to play a video or a voice video. Okay, and it's on the Chicago stuff. Okay, and it was yesterday. It was aired on Twitter on different questions. Okay, people, somebody that attended Chicago State University was there, and we are going to. I will just play the video, but I want you guys to listen carefully. Okay, analyze it and listen carefully because these are things we need to know, okay? So that when you are speaking, you know your standpoint, you know where you are speaking from, you will know the truth, okay? Because we don't just believe in saying this, that, okay? Let's hear from them. Let's hear from the people that that went to Chicago City, that have been there. Let's hear from them because people, many rumors, many things are happening. We don't really know what and what. Okay, so please, as you watch, I would like you to share, like, make comments. It's important to make. It's important to you, like, when you like, you share. It will make the thing work out well. So people will hear the truth. But this is what we are doing. We want people to hear the truth, to see it, to know what is happening. So I'm going to play this video right now. Please um just bear with it, okay? It's going to be questions and answers, okay? It was on Twitter, so you will not see the images, okay? But just listen carefully, and I guess we all know want to know the truth, okay? We want to know the truth. So this is what I'm going to do this night. I don't want to really do other things right now. I know that.
As they could
So
because they don't have a lot of money as it is.
please, okay?
And they wanted to keep, their student population numbers up so that they can continue to get money from the federal government, so that they can continue to get tuition money, even though many of the students there are on financial aid. But, if you don't have the students, you're not bringing in the money. And if you're not bringing in the money, then how can you pay your employees? How can you pay the bills? How do you keep the lights on? How do you keep the heat on? This is Chicago. In the wintertime, you have to have heat. So there's always like something going on, but I definitely, know about the academic scandal as well. So.
Got it. Okay. Now, some may argue that transcripts are more recognized in America than diploma certificates. Do you agree with this?
Absolutely. Transcripts are what are recognized. So I think one of the things that people are not need to understand about American culture, your diploma is a certificate. It doesn't mean anything. If your employer is looking to hire you and they need proof that you graduated from an institution, they're going to request your transcripts, the actual transcripts from the school that you claim you attended, got a certificate from, graduated from, whatever. The transcripts are what do it. And here's the reason why. Because in the United States, it is completely legal to purchase a fake diploma. I'm going to say that again. It is legal in the United States for you to manufacture, for you to purchase, for you to have and put up on your wall. It is nothing illegal about that. It is not a crime. Now, if you do it and you get a job and your job finds out that you're really not qualified, they're probably going to fire you. They're going to terminate your employment. But it's not something they can throw you in jail for because it is not illegal. And so one of the things that I'm hoping for is that as this situation with the president of Nigeria has now come out, that our politicians, our Congress people will take a look and say, you know what, maybe we shouldn't allow some of these businesses to operate if people are going to use these false documents in other countries. We could be causing greater harm around the world. Now, that's me being very optimistic on our politicians, but you can definitely see by allowing these type of businesses to operate, what type of chaos it can cause in other countries.
Let me, Mr. Coyden, let me even help you with a bit
Sure.
more context. So, just in case you want to speak to your Congress people about this issue, the Nigerian Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Chapter 6, the requirements to be president of Nigeria. There are about 7 of them, but the last one says he cannot be president. Matter of fact, he can't even run for president if he has presented a forged certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission. Such a person should be disqualified immediately. So you see, what you're saying, you take a fake certificate, you might get a job. It's not an arrestable offense. The job should sack you. Same thing. You took a fake certificate, you got a job as the president of a country. The entire country, the entire legal system of Chicago C.S.U. is proven that the certificate is fake. The job should what? Disqualify and fire you, which is what you just said. So I need you to understand that when you're telling this to them, you need to point this out in context, that somebody went as far as running for the president of a country in Black Africa and rigged his way in. And this is why these things should really be addressed. I just hope to give you more context in your report. Thank you. Gloria, you have one more question.
Okay, so I was actually going to ask you. You've clarified that it is legal to order a fake quote unquote certificate as long as the job knows you're qualified. So you get fired if they see you weren't qualified in the first place and you just presented a fake diploma or a fake certificate. Now, I know firsthand that getting a certificate from a school one graduated from should not be that complicated. And I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt here because we're talking about 1979 as the graduation date. So that's relatively old. However, CSU was established, I think, in 1867 or
Correct. Yep.
thereabouts. So with the advent of digitalization, one would assume that getting a certificate, especially if you're running for, say, president of a country, should not be that complicated. It's something you can literally, all you literally have to do is reach out to the office of the registrar and make your request. So what is the process and why is it such a big deal to just simply get an original certificate to prove that this person attended Chicago State University? Why do we have to deal with a fake certificate, as it were?
Yes. So here is the process to getting a diploma or a certificate from Chicago State if you have graduated from there. It's very simple. They could not make it any easier. You go online, you go to the school's website, and I actually have it on my page for the story that I wrote about. You click on there and say you want to replace, you need a replacement diploma or you want to order extra ones, fine, whatever you want to do. Because sometimes people have their diploma and let's say, their house catches on fire or it was in the basement, there's a flood, they want to replace their diploma. All you have to do is go on Chicago State University's website. They have 2 different tabs. If you're requesting your undergraduate diploma, you use one tab. If you're requesting your graduate diploma, like for your master's degree, there's another tab. You fill out the information. It'll ask you like the year you graduated, your major, your name, little things like that. You fill that out, okay? Then you have an option at that point on how you would like to receive your degree, okay? So they're making it very easy for you. You can do a couple of ways. You can request that the university mail it to you, okay? Now, if they mail it to you, I'm looking at it right now. It costs $8, $8 American dollars, okay? 8, the number 8, $8 American dollars. You just check the box that says, I want my diploma certificate that is currently on file mailed to me. $8. Let's say you want to order a replacement and pick it up. Okay, you can do it like that. They'll charge you $26 for a replacement. So let's say you didn't get the original. you want a replacement, it's $26. If you want them to mail it to you as well, the replacement, again, $26. So you can pick it up and have your replacement for $26. So let's just say, you know, what President Tinubu could have done. He could have said, they have my diploma certificate on file, because that was what he was saying. I don't have it. So if they have it on file and he graduated, all he would have had to do was fill out this form, pay $8. They would have mailed it to him. Now, it probably cost more than $8 because they would have had to mail it all the way to Nigeria, but he could have got it that way. If he wanted, for some reason, to fly all the way to Chicago to come pick it up, he could have done that. He could have paid for it online, filled out the paperwork, gone up to Chicago State University. He could have paid $26.50. They would have notified him when it was ready at the school. They would have handed it to him. Fine. He would have been out the door. Or he can order that replacement certificate and they will still mail it to him. You know, so there were ways he could.
Anywhere
All right,
in the world.
Mr. J, Gloria,
Go ahead.
Mr. J. Coyden, I want to play you a clip from Bola Tinubu himself. He said this at a place called Chatham House in the UK when he was campaigning for president last year. I just want you to hear his own words, how he got his certificate from Chicago State University. Parallel Facts, could you play the voice, please?
Chicago State University, where I graduated, has attested to that. Now I can announce that I've received my original replacement degree certificate from them.
If you don't mind, could you play it one more time, please? Parallel Facts.
Chicago State University, where I graduated, has attested to that. Now I can announce that I've received my original replacement degree certificate from them.
I might be annoying, but please play it the third time, please. I might be annoying, but please do it the third time. Thank you.
Chicago State University, where I graduated, has attested to that. Now I can announce that I've received my original replacement degree certificate from them.
All right, sir. So this is Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his own words. Yeah, it's actually a video. So the certificate you have seen, sir, is it original? And did it come from Chicago State? There is one question I want to ask. His spokespersons defend him by bringing up a statement called third-party vendors. Literally, some of them have gone as far as saying you can redesign your certificate. Parallel Facts, if you have that voice pop and you're ready, you could play that for me. I would like you to hear some of their defense of this situation and tell me if this is the proper avenue by which these things are handled. Parallel Facts, do you have the voice note, please? Okay. So I just want to ask you, sir, is that certificate original from Chicago State?
So when I listened to what the president said, he contradicted himself. Okay. If you listen to what he says, I have my original replacement. There's no way you can have an original replacement. Those are two completely different things. You either have your original certificate or you have your replacement certificate. You don't have an original replacement.
Parallel Facts, can you play that note one more time just in case Mr. Coyden is wrong and Tinubu said something different? Please, if you don't mind. Can you hear me? Gloria, can you hear me?
I can
hear you. I think they're trying to find the clip again.
Okay, no wahala. All right then. So I want to ask you one more question, Mr. Coyden, please, if you don't mind. This will only take. You mentioned in your article about a 1979 C.S.U. yearbook.
Yes.
Have you seen the 1979 CSU yearbook? Is it
Ah,
missing? Is it possible that an entire year of a university's yearbook is missing, especially with this type of scandal? And have you tried to investigate why 1979 in particular is missing? And then my last question: is it possible a student came to that school and for some reason graduated, has his certificate, but his picture is not in the yearbook? Could you help you out? Could you help us out with the CSU 1979 yearbook mystery, sir?
okay,
Thank
so
you.
let me answer the first question first for you. Okay. The 1979 Chicago State University emblem, that's the name of our yearbook. Our yearbook is called the emblem. So EMBLEM, emblem. So the 1979 edition of emblem should be in the university archives. So you heard me talk about that earlier. It should be in the university archives with all the other yearbooks, all the other newspapers, all that stuff. So when I visited the campus a few days ago, I went to the archives. I went 2 days last week. I spoke to the archivist. That's the person who runs the place. And I said, hey, I see everything here but the 1979 yearbook. He looked himself. He's like, yeah, I don't see it either. Now, here's why this is important. The archives are located in the library, but they're in a private part of the library. So anything that's in the archives, you cannot take out of that particular room. So you know how if you go to a library and you want to check out a book, okay, I want to take out this book. You got a library card, you give them a library card. Okay, here's the book. We need it back in 3 weeks. Well, that's not the case in the archives. The archives is a secure room because there's stuff there that is talks about the history of the school. It's, you know, it's the newspapers, it's the yearbooks, it's the portraits of all the past presidents. It's all that type of stuff in there. So when I visited it on 2 different occasions, I did not find a physical copy of the yearbook. Okay, fine. They also have a digital version because this is the year 2023 now. So they have digital copies of the yearbook as well. Well, they don't have a 1979 digital copy either. So there's no physical copy, there's no digital copy. It's like the book has just vanished and nobody knows where it is. Now, the second part of your question, you were asking, would his picture be in the yearbook? So here's the thing about the yearbooks at Chicago State. They only put the pictures of the graduating seniors in the yearbook. And not everyone is in there automatically because you have to choose to want to have your photo in the yearbook. And a lot of people just choose not to do it. So even if his picture isn't in there, even though people would like to say, hey, is he in there that could maybe solve all this? It really, I mean, he might be in there. He might not be in there. We don't know because we can't find a book.
Is it
Go
okay?
ahead.
Continue,
No,
Glory.
go ahead. Go ahead. No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Let that what I just heard clear in my head.
Mm-hmm. So what implications does all this ongoing certificate saga have on the integrity of Chicago State
No,
University?
the integrity is in the trash. That's what I was telling
Wow.
Precious the other day on the show. The university is looking terrible in this. It looks terrible in this. You know, so you know, I'll make a couple of points on that. So first things first. When President Tinubu was, and I'm gonna use the terms. I know you all feel differently about it, but just give me a little leeway. When he was elected as president back in February, okay, he then took office later on this year. He's the sitting president of Nigeria. Now, if you're Chicago State University, and one of your graduates, one of your alum, someone who was educated at your school and graduated, hell, even if they didn't graduate, they just went to your school, they're an alum. If there's an alum of your school who now becomes the president of the largest country on the continent of Africa with over 213 million citizens, plus Nigerians throughout the diaspora. And this person went to your college, wouldn't you be screaming, yay, yay, woohoo, whippy? You would be promoting it all over the place.
Right.
You would be saying, look what happened. Look, one of our graduates is now the president of Nigeria. You'd be sending out press releases. You'd be inviting President Tinubu to campus. You'd be putting a statue up. Oh, look what happened to one of our alums. Chicago State has not done any of that. They haven't said a word about that. And since this entire scandal has broken out, we have not heard one word from President Scott, who is the current president of Chicago State. Not one word, not one congratulations to President Tinubu, not we don't know what's going on here, not we're going to look into this because this is the integrity of our university at stake, and I am the president. The buck is going to stop with me. We have heard nothing from her. We've heard nothing from a vice president, nothing from the provost. The only people that have made a statement has been the public relations person and has been the attorneys representing Chicago State. And that is what gives me, as the journalist here in Chicago, that is where my concern is, and that is where my focus is. My focus is on Chicago State because I'm going, what are you all doing? What are you hiding? Because none of your actions are making any sense. If you just had an alum who became the president of Nigeria. And so that is what I'm focusing on more than anything else, because I'm here. I'm not there in Nigeria. I don't know your laws. I'm not sure of the culture. I am concentrating on Chicago State because that is where, for me, there's a story here. There's a bigger story here. And especially when I put that with all of the incidents of corruption that have happened at that university. And again, I encourage those of you who are listening, I see we got almost 3,000 people here listening. Go to my website, go to jcoydenreports.com and look at what I wrote today. Just look at what I wrote today. I wrote about at least 6 scandals that I know about. I could have written about 50. How much y'all want me to write? So it's not about, does this school not have integrity? Their integrity has been in the toilet. And I went there. I went there. So me saying this actually kind of messes me up because it's the institution that I went to. It takes us down. But if you've also noticed, you're not hearing a lot of Chicago State alums or the current students. You're not hearing them protests. Nobody is saying, let's get to the bottom of this. And you know why that is? It's because we've learned to expect this type of stuff from Chicago State.
Wow.
And that is really sad.
This is so noteworthy what you're sharing. The first point of not having the school body come out to actually congratulate a whole president of a nation. And you're talking about students not protesting and things like that. We would also expect that, people who did graduate with Tinubu or at some point were in school when he was at school. I mean, if I had somebody I was classmates with become president of a country, I'm going to be screaming about it. But we haven't actually had cases of people coming forward, to congratulate at the very least. So do you believe that Chicago State University is displaying double standards in how they're handling this, given its history?
I don't think they're displaying double standards. I think they're doing what Chicago State always does. I think this is par for the course, to use a golf term. This is their normal operation. They were doing this stuff when I was there. This doesn't surprise me. And that's what I was saying on the other media outlet when I talked to Precious a couple of days ago. This doesn't shock me. This doesn't shock me at all. If you had said this was the University of Illinois, I'd say, okay, this is shocking. They don't usually do that. if you had said this is the University of Chicago, which I've learned as I've kind of gotten roped into this story, that originally President Tinubu mentioned the University of Chicago, and then the fine reporter you all have down there, David, kind of outed him on that and said that's not true. And then he switched it and said Chicago State. It does not surprise me that Chicago State has gotten themselves involved in this. The major problem Chicago State is going to have, because there's now so much attention being paid to this, if they get an investigation done on that university, if they get and I want to break it down so that the people in Nigeria there understand who can investigate Chicago State. Okay, Chicago State is located in the city of Chicago. It's located in Cook County. It is located in the state of Illinois. It is located in the United States. So that means, just in theory, the Chicago Police Department, they wanted to do an investigation, they could do it. The Cook County Sheriff's Department, if they wanted to do an investigation, they could do it. The Illinois State Police, if they wanted to do an investigation, they could do it. The university has its own police force with its own detectives. If they wanted to do an internal criminal investigation, they could launch one. In terms of the federal government, well, if we're talking about possibility of some falsified documents or some records that don't look right, they could actually bring in the Secret Service. Okay, the United States Secret Service, who most people, you just think, oh, that's the person, they're the people that protect the president. They run out with the limo. Well, actually, a big part of what they do, because they're the Department of the Treasury, is they do forgeries. They do documents, because people use counterfeit American money all around the world. So the United States Secret Service is responsible for that. So if you're talking documents, they could probably bring in the Secret Service. They could bring in the FBI if they wanted to. They could bring in the Illinois Attorney General. He could do his own investigation. He's separate from the police department. He's the prosecutor. They could bring in the Cook County State's Attorney. She has her own investigative unit. You could bring in, not necessarily law enforcement, but you could bring in the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education, because we're talking about a public university that gets federal dollars. They could come in and say, hey, we need to do an investigation on this. So, I mean, you could literally have 10 different agencies who could investigate Chicago State if they wanted to. And you could also have multiple investigations going on at one time. You could have all 12 of them show up one day and do it. Those are just the possibilities. So I just want, the people in Nigeria to understand there are many different ways that this could go. And I just think the more that there are questions out there and the longer this goes on, that eventually one of them law enforcement agencies are going to say, you know what, let's go take a look at this.
Thank you, Jay. Go on.
All right. Jay, I want to play you something. In Nigeria, I need you to understand that Tinubu has not given any statement on live television or radio to defend any of these allegations. What you have are media lackeys all over the place, twisting and turning something that is clean and clear to the eyes and to the ears. So I want to play you one of them, and this is his opinion on redesigning your certificates, and you tell me what you think. Parallel facts, please.
One thing Nigerians need to know is that in that certificate, because it's ceremonial, you even have the right to redesign it to your own taste. That is the truth. What is important is the transcript.
Redesign it to your own taste.
Absolutely. You can Google it. It's out there. They advertise it out there in the US. If you have lost your certificate, we can get it back for you.
Please, could you play one more time, please?
One thing Nigerians need to know is that in that certificate, because it's ceremonial, you even have the right to redesign it to your own taste. That is the truth. What is important is the transcript.
Redesign it to your own taste.
Absolutely. You can Google it. It's out there. They advertise it out there in the US. If you have lost your certificate, we can get it back for you.
All right. So that is one. I want to now play you another person. He was Tinubu's spokesman all through the elections. His name is Festus Keyamo. This man is actually, hold on, he's actually a senior advocate of Nigeria, a lawyer at least on the level of Justice Maldonado. And this was his defense for Tinubu. And then I would break down to you that Tinubu even has discrepancies in his primary school and in his high school. This is a defense. It's called the speech, Great Men School from Home. Please listen carefully.
You didn't go to a primary school? Is that what you're saying? In those days, you don't have to go. You don't have to. You need to pass this from home. Secondary school? Yeah, the secondary school. That's this, you know. What type of plane is this?
So why am I playing you this? In 1999, I'll give you a quick summary. Bola Tinubu ran for governor of Lagos State, the biggest state in Nigeria, one of the most popular states, very popular. He submitted that he went to a school called Children's Home School, Aroloya, as his primary school. He then submitted that he went to a school called Government College Ibadan as his secondary school. He then said that he went to University of Chicago and then Richard Daley College. 1999. People went to research the schools and found out that the primary school, Children's Home School Aroloya, did not exist at all. The secondary school he claimed, the set he claimed, they wanted to celebrate him being a governor. This same thing you're asking Chicago State to do. They wanted to celebrate the fact he was now a governor. And they asked him, what set did you finish from? Bola Tinubu could not answer. There is a story that the governor of that state went to that school and forcefully seized the records of that year Tinubu claims. Now, when Tinubu ran for president of Nigeria, he did not put any primary school. He did not put the children's home school he had put in 1999. He did not put the secondary school that he had put. And then he now put up this fake certificate, this certificate we have all agreed on that is fake. He submitted this fake certificate. I want to ask you, sir, is it possible to get into university in the United States of America without never going to primary school, without never going to secondary school? What do you think about this whole entire Tinubu conundrum, considering that there is no public record of him having ever gone to school, and then this Chicago situation comes up? What kind of person do you think we are dealing with at this point from your status as a non-observer, just someone from the outside looking in?
So what I will say is I will answer that question that you asked. Can you get into a college or a university in the United States of America without going to a primary or a secondary school? Am I understanding the question correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the first question.
Okay. So the answer to that is absolutely yes, you can. I actually have a friend who was homeschooled. Both of her parents were teachers. So one of them, when she was born, stopped teaching and homeschooled my friend all the way through what would be her high school years. Now, in the United States, you can do that. However, the child still must be able to test like every year to make sure that they're on track, that the education they're getting at home is adequate enough. And then you can still get into a university as long as you meet that university's requirements, which is usually you would take one of our national standard tests here in the United States, more than likely the SAT. They usually require that score, but that's kind of changing a little bit. You may have to take an entrance exam. They may want to see some of your other activities in addition to your formal education. Well, were you in the Boy Scouts? Were you did you play any sports? Were you on a dance team or anything like that? So you can submit your application, and if you fit that particular university's requirements, you can absolutely be admitted to a university. But now that is for American students. I don't know about the situation for people who are maybe not American citizens or people who are here on work visas. I'm not sure. I do not know the answer to that question. But I know if you're an American
Is it
citizen, you can.
possible someone who schooled in Nigeria, primary, secondary school, or someone who did not school at all from Nigeria can get into the US with these same rights?
Can't tell you. Don't know. Don't know the answer to that one.
Okay. What of the one about redesigning the certificate to your taste that we played earlier?
Yeah. I once you get your certificate, you can do whatever you want with it. You can do whatever you want with it because it is based off the transcripts. Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want. I mean, if you can get a legit, if you get a legit diploma here, you can take it, you can walk outside with it, write on it, tear it up, do whatever you want with it. It doesn't mean anything here because, as I said before, they're going to go by your official transcripts here in the United States. They're not going to go by your diploma. And also, as I said earlier, here in the United States, you can legally purchase a fake diploma. You can legally order a fake diploma. You can legally make your own, put it up on a wall. The only thing you can't do is, say you did something is a requirement for a job and you present them with a diploma.
No, can you submit that diploma and run for president?
For president, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. I'm not sure what our laws are on that one.
All right, Gloria.
Thank you very much. So I'm curious, what does accountability look like? Which body oversees U.S. universities? In Nigeria, for instance, the National Universities Commission regulates universities. So which body oversees U.S. Universities here in the U.S., and what has been their role over the years?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So let's break that down. So who oversees Chicago State University? Okay, because that's really what we're talking about here. Who oversees Chicago State University? It is a state university, so it is overseen by the state of Illinois and is represented by a board of governors. We have about 13 state universities here in Illinois. Chicago State is just one of them. They're overseen by a board of governors. There are representatives from all throughout the state of Illinois. Other accountability would be the board of trustees of Chicago State University. They have a lot of responsibility. And then on the federal government level, it would be the United States Department of Education. The United States Department of Education is who gives you your accreditation, which says, no, you're a credible university. That would come from the U.S. Department of Education. And if you're not meeting the correct standards, they can pull away your accreditation. So let's just throw a situation out there. Let's say American investigators do an investigation on Chicago State, and they find Chicago State violated some federal laws, and they're not up to accreditation. They could yank the school's accreditation, which basically you can still go to the school, but your degree wouldn't mean anything because it's not accredited. Okay, so that would be one step they could take. The other thing, if they felt it was serious enough, they could just shut the entire university down. So that would be the accountability. The state of Illinois could do that, or the United States federal government could do that.
And I just have one more question before we bring our speakers on, or before N6 takes over. I am Presh90 here on X is asking a very important question, I think. If there is any proof of ID cards for students can Chicago State University provide any proof of identification cards for students who went to school, say, between 1978 and
Yeah,
1980?
that's a really good question.
Do you think that's a
Yes, that's a
possibility?
very good question. I happened to ask that question to someone in Chicago State just yesterday. I remember when I was there, I had a student ID card. Okay. Student ID card had my name on it. It had I believe it had my social security number on it, but I'm not sure. And then it had my picture. I had to take a picture. It was kind of like almost one of those pictures if you go to the police station and you get arrested and they got to take a picture of your face. It's kind of like that. It's an ID picture. And my question to the person was, hey, what do they do with all the ID pictures after they take the pictures of the students? Do they keep them? And I was told they don't. I was told that it would take up too much storage space if they kept all those pictures that they had taken from back in the day. Nowadays, they do it digitally. I find it hard to believe that they don't have the records of the IDs because you literally took a picture, but that was the answer I got. So that's an excellent question about the IDs. And I do also want to mention, I mentioned this too on another show, in American universities, because you have so many students at these schools, the professors, the deans, they don't call you by your name. Really, they really don't even know your name because you could have 350 students in a lecture hall. So the way they used to do it back in 1979, they went by your social security number. They didn't go by your name. So when you were doing your test, you turned the test in, instead of writing your name, you would write your social security number, at the top of the page, and that way the professor would know who you are. So that is why there is so much focus here in Chicago on that social security number that we saw on President Tinubu's transcripts from both Daly College and Chicago State University, because the social security number is what's going to matter more than the name itself in a lot of ways. It really will, because the social security number is its own number. You could have 25 people to go to your university named John Smith. Okay, you could have 25 people with the exact same name, but they're not going to have the same social security numbers. You're going to have 25 different social security numbers. So what they have done now in the United States, in modern United States colleges, they still use a social security number to verify the identity of students, but when the student is doing their test or they're doing anything around college, they get a special ID number from that particular college that goes to that particular student. But back in 1979, they were not doing that.
Interesting. So now we've had reports of the social security number you're mentioning. There have been allegations of this being tied to a female. We also had a case of a certificate from Southwest College having a female gender on
Yes.
it. What are your
So
thoughts on this?
I've observed both of those. That evidence came out during the deposition, which took place last Tuesday, so 6 days ago. I got a copy of the deposition on Wednesday and all the documents that Chicago State had turned over to Atiku's lawyers. Okay. And so in those documents, you can see, I'll pull it up right now because I'm literally like right in front of my screen here. And I will look at the Daly College documents first. So remember, I went to both of these schools. Okay. So I have these exact documents for me. So I know what they look like and what they should look like. So for me, I'm looking at President Tinubu's now from Daly College. And when I looked at it and I examined it, I said, okay, this looks absolutely correct. First. So remember, I went to both of these schools.
Only difference have to be there. But does everyone's name has to be in the emblem? Does every graduating student's name has to be in the yearbook?
No, it does not.
Not
right, not all
names,
the
right?
names, correct.
Okay, so I asked you to, I reached out to you on your TL before
Right.
I engaged you in your DM, and you asked me my position.
Uh-huh.
I just want, I'm just curious. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? And I just want people to understand the kind of people we're dealing with. Could you please help me
So
out with
in the
that?
United States, we have obviously the First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech, but the Second Amendment is the right to carry and bear arms. And America is dangerous. So carrying a weapon for your own self-protection, a lot of people choose to do it. So when I saw your particular profile, I figured I would ask you that. And, we kind of connected on that and some other things. But that is why I asked, because I think one of the things people have asked me, well, how come the journalists in Nigeria are not really digging into this situation? Well, I mean, they don't want to get killed. They ain't trying to get killed. They're not trying to have to live in exile. And I think that's the difference. We, first of all, our freedom of speech is really protected well here in the United States. And then secondly, most of the journalists I know packing guns. So, I just got to keep it real with you. Most of them packing guns. And that allows you a little bit more freedom to do your job in peace.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Up next, somebody who has been very well invested in this case, Jackson Ude. Please, my brother, you're welcome to the platform. We're all well-meaning Nigerians here. You have one important question to throw at Mr. Coyden. You have the floor, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Coyden, for all you do. And thank you, everyone who's on this platform. So I'm just going to go right quick to ask Mr. Coyden. And I'm going to give you a background of myself. I'm a journalist trained in Nigeria and also trained in New York. I went to the City University of New York, Lehman College. And I'm very passionate about this. And I want you to shed some more light about the processes of gaining admissions into the Chicago State University. So now my question goes this way. How can you be admitted as a student in Chicago State without a passport, without a birth certificate, without a social security card, without any form
Without a
of
student
identity,
visa.
without a student visa, without a state ID, with no form of identification, with not even a proof of address? Now, I ask this question because I know the processes by which I was admitted into the City University of New York in Lehman College. At the time, I was not an American citizen. At the time, I was admitted based on my asylum status. I produced my Nigerian passport that had my asylum status on my I-94. I produced my New York State ID card, which proved my residency of New York, so I could enjoy the benefit of the Pell Grant and other benefit I could get. I produced my Social Security card that identified me. I produced a proof of address where I live. So I
I
don't
under
understand.
Mr.
I
Jackson,
don't.
please round up your question,
Yeah.
please. That we
So I
have
don't
the world
understand.
trying
I
to
don't
ask,
understand
please.
why city. I mean, why Chicago State University will admit someone and then don't have no record of that person's identification. Is there any way you can shed more light on this,
Thank you
please?
for the
Thank you.
question. What I will say is, I don't know what they did back in 1979. And that's just true. I don't know what the heck they did. I don't know if they required him to show it at the time to prove it, and then they never looked at it again. I don't know if they required him to show something. They took a copy of it. They kept the copy on file, but then once he left, they threw it away. I don't know. And that's why I was saying to my host, that's why I was saying earlier, it's very interesting to me that Chicago State University isn't taking questions, because these are questions that they should be answering. These are all solid questions, and these are questions that the president needs to stand in front of microphones, in front of press, and not take questions just from American journalists, but take questions from the journalists in Nigeria, because you all have some serious questions that she has to answer. And I honestly don't know what they were doing in 1979. I'm right there with you all. What proof did you all have that this was the person that you were actually admitting? That is a great question, and it's a question for the administrators of Chicago State to answer.
Thank you very much for your reply. We have Umar Sani Descartes. You have the floor, sir. Ask your question.
Thank you, host. Hello, Mr. Coyden. Is it true that in 1979, back then, that as a foreign student, you are not identified as a national of your country? Rather, you are viewed as an African American, Mexican American, etc. So a national of Nigeria, when he goes there, he automatically becomes an African American. How true is that? Secondly, quickly, a former head of state of Nigeria gave a colossal amount of money as donation to the Chicago State University. Are universities in the US allowed to solicit for donations from individuals who have no history with an institution? Number three, quickly, sir, sorry. The Nigeria law allows free printing of certificates as well. We have marriage certificates, graduation certificates of artisans, and that are not affiliated with government. However, if it is used for official purposes, it becomes an offense, e.g., employment, admission, or election purposes. Our law says you cannot be qualified if you submit a forged certificate. It means, therefore, the emphasis of certification is different in both countries, or is it the same?
So it's
number four.
So
number four.
Hold on, let me answer.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Let him at least answer one. Hold on.
This is my final question.
Let me answer.
Let him answer
let me
one.
answer.
It's my final question.
I can't remember.
All right then. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Please, we'd like to keep this space orderly. Let him answer. Mr. Coyden, can you even remember any of the questions?
The first two. The first ones I can remember.
So ask him the first two, please. Yeah. Umar, please, the first two briefly. Umar, can you hear me? Your mic.
Okay, yes. I said, is it true that...
The first two questions briefly, please, so that he can at least get it and then answer.
Okay, I think he will get it now. Is it true that back then, that as a foreign student, you are not identified as a national of your country? Rather, you are viewed as an African American, Mexican American, etc., that nobody recognizes. So if you, when we were arguing over the the person who has the certificate is an American citizen, this is an argument a professor brought in, that this is the situation back then in America.
Let me answer that one. In 1979, again, every school had their own different rules. Okay. Private schools may do one thing. Some of the public schools may do something else. The record keeping back in 1979 was not nearly as good as it is in 2023. And I think that is one of the major issues that we're seeing with this particular case, is that we're just talking about a difference of, 40 years and what they did back then. So I can't really say what Chicago State did in 1979. Now, his third question was about the fake certificates and what you can use and what you cannot use. Like I said earlier, it's completely legal to have a fake certificate here in the United States. It's legal to buy one. It's legal to display one up in your house. There's nothing illegal about that. So that's the way it is here. He asked me something about what you all do in Nigeria. I don't know. I don't know what you all do. I'm just learning now a little bit of what some of your laws are. So.
Okay, the second question is, okay, let me just move this one. Is a foreign student...
You have one more question, sir, please. You have one more question. We have a long list of people, please.
Okay, is a foreign student entitled to social security number? I saw in one of your write-up that the social security number purporting to belong to Tinubu was traced to a female
Yes.
in Virginia, and there is no proof that he ever lived there. What is the situation? Have you
Yep.
investigated
You
for
just
that?
answered that
Thank
one.
you.
You just answered.
Oh,
That's the
that's the
answer.
answer.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Umar. Moving ahead, Savik. Welcome to the platform. You have a few minutes to ask one question.
Thank you so much, Mr. J. Coyden. The question is straightforward. During the deposition, we discovered that the attorney that works with Chicago State University that gave Bola Tinubu's lawyer some documents abruptly,
Quit.
left the
Yep.
institution.
Yep.
Have you digged into that and discover why and exactly why he left?
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
another person we're looking for. That person in the 1979 yearbook. Those are two items we're looking for: 1979 yearbook and that registrar who left. Yes, I think you all are absolutely on the right track. I want to make sure you all understand that. Yes, there are multiple people looking for that particular individual. And yes, we are also looking for the 1979 yearbook. And there are a lot of other things that I'm not going to get into because, we are doing, work here. But yes, we know about that person who left rather quickly. Would love to talk to him.
All right. Thank you very much. Gospel and Roy, I'll get to you, but let me ask, well-meaning Nigerian, my brother, welcome to the platform.
Yeah,
Ask your question.
yeah. Thank you very much, MCs. Thank you, Parallel Facts, for this opportunity. Thank you, Gloria. Great program so far. And thank you, Coyden, for coming around to Parallel Fact. So my question is gonna be very simple, but I'm asking a question that I personally deem one of the most important questions in this, and I think a couple of one or two persons in the comment section actually agreed with me. So the first thing I would want to say is that I think Umar Sani was saying, I'm glad the statement you've used so far is it is legal to purchase a fake certificate. It is legal to purchase a fake, certificate. So the good news is that, or rather, the main point is that even in purchasing it, the word fake is attached to it. And I got to confirm that you were actually right, because one of the diplomas maker in America, they call them realisticdiplomas.com, actually have it on their website. Then but what is, like Umar was also saying, it's just to answer your question, it is outrightly illegal in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, on Valid Grad, one of the common fake certificates or fake diplomas producers, their first FAQ, frequently asked question, was really a question that says if this certificate is considered authentic. And the answer they provided to that question, which I already said, it should be made clear that these are not real diplomas or transcripts. We are not an educational institution and cannot be used for accreditation. So that's one of the. So why I'm building this question is because one of the major points that came out from the deposition and that have been flying around in Nigeria is the concept of vendors. There's this talk about vendors.
Third-party
Yes,
vendors.
third-party vendors. And this question is very important. Like I said, the question, all this my talk now is really to create some clarity for listeners. I think the question I would ask you is really going to be very simple. So I think even in this whole conversation, a lot of people have mistaken, the concept of fake certificates, getting fake certificates, which even by Valid Grad definition, you get these fake certificates. And you have also said it here, you use them for novelty. You can even gift it to somebody, you put them in your walls, not really even for official reasons. So it remains fake. Even in America, to an extent, it's regarded as the word fake. And I'm emphasizing that word fake for a reason. So during the deposition,
that was why I read him Nigeria's exact laws on the issue earlier on.
Yes. During the deposition, The word vendor was never used in that deposition. I mean, that word in itself was never used in that deposition. The word offsite was used twice, and the word third party was used once in that deposition. And because Nigeria and the party Tinubu belongs to is used to the act of propaganda, so they've been able to put all that together and said, okay, what the registrar meant was that. So what the registrar said, and I really want to put this out for fact, because for me I think this is a very clear. What the registrar said, and a question was asked to the registrar that said, did you tell us earlier, I'm quoting the question, did you tell us earlier that when there is a replacement diploma made, or any diploma, is that done in-house by CSU or is that sent off-site?
Right. I got you. I got
Yeah.
you.
So
I think I'm following the gist of your question. What you're
yeah,
asking
sorry.
is does Chicago State
Okay.
produce the actual diplomas right there on the campus? Is that what you're asking?
No, that's not the question. So that's why I really want to build this.
Please make your question
Yeah,
briefer so that he can get
I'm,
your
I'm,
point,
I'm
please.
almost done. Sorry. So the answer that the registrar gave to that question was, at present, it is sent offsite. I mean, I think anybody with common sense knows that that means that, oh, now they print their certificate using maybe, how will I say it now, a contractor, maybe they don't have the printer in-house and all that. I guess that's what that meant. But it has been misconstrued in Nigeria, in my opinion, to mean that meant that Chicago State University have a couple of vendors off-site where students can approach these vendors to say, oh, I attend Chicago State University, please, I'm going to pay you, print a certificate for me on behalf of Chicago State University, which would mean they would have the official signature and everything, these vendors. So my question to you really is straight. Does Chicago State University have certified vendors that students are allowed to approach for them to print, and I mean from Chicago State University,
Without the knowledge of the
for
school.
them to print certificates, who would automatically, after printing the certificate, would Chicago State University would, because one of the processes that they said they would do before they print a certificate is to verify the student record. So my point, the question really is, does Chicago State University have certified vendor, their own certified vendor, as you as a student now can say, oh, instead of me to go to Chicago State University have certified AAA to print certificates, so I'm going to AAA as a vendor. So let's know if that's what Bola Tinubu did. Are there certified vendors by Chicago State University?
Okay, so that is not the process that they do. If you need your diploma from Chicago State University, you go. If you did not get it, let's say I'm gonna give you different situations. So let's say you're graduating in May. It's your first time graduation. Woo! Everybody's there, the family. We all taking pictures and everything. At the graduation, they give you the cover. They don't give you the actual certificate. They usually give you the cover. Our cover is green. It's green with gold on it. Now, if you get a master's degree, it might be different. But if you get your bachelor's, it's usually green with the gold lettering of the university on there, okay? You're not getting your diploma that day. You're getting a cover. And then your actual diploma will be mailed to you. the school. Now, if you want extra copies of that diploma or you lose your diploma, you go on the website. You go on the website. I don't even think they let you come to the school anymore because COVID has changed everything kind of all around the world. So they trying to do the least amount of people as possible in person. And they're kind of short on personnel up there right now. You would go online, fill out that form that I spoke about earlier in the show, pay them their money, and then you either tell them I'm going to come pick it up when it is ready, or you mail it to my house. There is no Chicago State is going to certify you and you just go over here and tell them we said you good. No, they don't do that. I don't know of any American university that does that. You go through the university that you graduated from. They then contact their vendor once you have paid your money, done your application, and then it goes from there. Now, what we're trying to figure out now is which vendor Chicago State uses. It's a possibility they may use 2 or 3 different ones. It just all depends. But that takes time to get that information. That's one of the things I know many journalists have put in a request for Chicago State to get that back to them. And that's usually going to take anywhere between a week and 2 weeks to get that information back. So the deposition was just 6 days ago. So I would think, probably within the next few days, we will be able to answer some of those questions because I know a lot of people are asking about that. But no, you cannot just officially show up to a place and say, CSU said I'm good. I need y'all to print one that says this. Now, you can do that, but the university isn't going to sign off on that. And I think people need to really understand what Chicago State said in that deposition. The only thing they are verifying are his academic records, or President Tinubu's academic records. They are not verifying the diploma that he presented to the INEC. They've said that several times.
The academic records of Bola A. Tinubu.
That is what they are verifying. What they turned over in that deposition, that is what they will verify, those academic records. They didn't verify nothing about no diploma at the INEC.
So, sorry, C.S.U, I really just wanted to answer this question in yes or no.
Hold on, well-meaning. I'll get back to
No,
you.
it's this same
I'll
question.
keep you
I
up
just
here.
wanted to answer it as a point for record purpose.
Hold on, well-meaning. I promise you I'll get back to you. Let me exhaust the speakers. Honorable Real One, you have a few minutes and one question, please. Keep it one question and keep it brief.
Okay, thank you, the guest speaker. Let me just go straight to the question because majority of what I intended to ask, has been answered. But one fundamental thing is from your explanation, you talked about the role of Chicago State in all of this, and after the legal battle, my question is it possible after the legal issue that they were banned to actually release the document to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar? Is it possible for them to now grant a press release?
I'm sorry, sir. Your voice is very faint. Could you speak directly into your speaker and speak up?
Is it better now?
Not necessarily, but continue.
Okay. Yeah, my question is it possible for Chicago State University, after the legal battle between the two contenders, to actually grant a press release to say, okay, yes, the court actually asked us to provide the document, but we've actually done that, and to clarify the lingering issues. This man is not from our school and all those things. Is it possible for them under the law to do that and not violating the laws in the United States of America? That's just my question.
I understand your question. They can come out with any statement they want to, and that's one of the things I've been saying. It's interesting that they have not said anything, but they can release a press statement whenever they want. But I just think on this particular situation, because it's in litigation, it's been in litigation, and because everybody in the world is now looking at them, if they are going to release a statement, it's going to be very carefully crafted, extremely crafted. And their lawyers probably telling them not to say nothing. But I just think at a certain point, the president is going to have to say something, because eventually what's going to happen is she's going to have to go out and start traveling for the university and speaking at events and stuff like that. And that's when, people like me show up. We just start throwing tape recorders in her face and asking her questions. So she can only hide for so long.
All right, thank you very much. Roy, are you there? Roy, are you there? Can you hear me? Gloria, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Is Roy there?
I can hear you.
Crystal.
All right. Ibrahim, after you, I'll circle back to Jimmy and well-meaning. Ibrahim, you have the floor. You have one question for Mr.
Can you give me so I can do my thing and go away?
Thank you very much, C.S.U. Me, I don't have to come up and ask questions. I'm not here for questions. I'm just enjoying myself. I know we have already set up a trap, and then we have caught the mouse that's always eating our corn. It's just for us to see whether to barbecue that one or to to send it somewhere. You see my last post. I say I don't think he escaped 1993 and he escaped 1999, and very unfortunate for him. Here we are obedient in 2023. So I think there is no way these people will escape this. I think we can go beyond this. After bringing another person to come and explain all what we are doing here, I think I'm just happy that we are over 3,000 here in Nigerians, so that at least people can listen. I always say this is one of the things I enjoy with the movement we have is that we are looking for facts. You get educated. People that are coming here every day, when I see Cecil saying, from the book of Google, I say, so I know we are going to go back through we're going to go back through everything that we can, at least to educate people. And thank God, every Sunday, I go on radio too, here in Kaduna. It's a house of program called Enamafta Ariwa. That's finding solution for the northern problems too. And then we repeat the program in the night on Saturdays. So we try as much as possible to keep educating, because we think maybe up here in the north, what we really need more is this education. So I think I send this link to a lot of people. I say, okay, come and listen to people from the US you are talking about. Come on, people, listen to people that understand the position. Look and listen to people that can now enlighten you more and where we are, so that it's not about emotions. This is about Nigeria. It's not about this party. What about you are going to, for example, yesterday was somebody called on radio and I was asking me, why is it that the northern elite are not talking? I say they are looking for appointment for their children. They are looking for contract. They are looking for government to keep on helping them to do the things that ordinary other Nigerians are supposed to do. So they are not looking for a Nigeria that work for everybody. They are looking for Nigeria that work for only them and their children. So they can talk on behalf of everybody. So thank God, at least we are here. We have the obedience and we have the parallel pact. At least we always bring to people. Don't listen. Somebody can buy all the radio station, all the TV station, all the journalists, but you can buy all of us. We always going to come back here and still discuss and bring out the truth. We are not going to lie to about government. We are not going to lie about Tinubu. We are not going to say things just to degrade somebody. We are just going to bring facts, because we want to build a country at least that things work. If you look at all the brouhaha we are talking about, almost 480 something cases in the court. That's mean, how can an INEC officials now look at Nigeria and still that man is still on his seat?
I'll need you to round up, Ibrahim. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm just saying is that you look at the quantum of money we spend just for us to elect this kind of people. Look at who is Senate president. Look at what is our president. Look at who are our governors with all the money. So thank God we are here. I want to just take more grease to your elbow. Parallel facts, keep on bringing this thing, bringing the fact and give it to them, so that at least Nigeria will believe that we are doing this struggle not for anything, just for Nigeria that will work for everyone. I yield my mic.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. God bless you. Well spoken. Jimmy, you have two fire questions for Mr.
Right. Thanks. NCs. Real quick.
Sorry, Siso, I've been here a while. I don't know if you can just give me the mic so I can go down.
Right. Sorry, Mr. Coyden. Let me just go straight at it. Two questions importantly, on behalf of all Nigerians listening. What is the implication of this internationally? And can anyone from Nigeria file a lawsuit against CSU? I mean, this can go to the state attorney, Mayor Brandon Johnson, FBI in Chicago, CIA, the CPD, Chicago, and state police, or probably, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. Those are my two questions. Thank you.
All right. So Chicago State is a state university. So you would want to talk to the governor, J.B. Pritzker, who I mentioned in one of my previous articles. He would be responsible for Chicago State University. Mayor Brandon Johnson wouldn't have anything to do with it. Would be absolutely no help. You would contact the Illinois Attorney General, who is a gentleman by the name of Kwame Raoul. Kwame Raoul would be one of the people, if Chicago State, let's say, was found to be doing something criminal, he would be the one that would file the criminal charges. Or he could take Chicago State to court and say, hey, I need more information. I've had to use Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office against Chicago State. Just is, a year ago? I got a lesson from them. We have a law here in the United States called the Freedom of Information Act. What that is, it means that I can ask any public body, Chicago State University being a public school, I can ask them for any public record. So let's say I want to know how much Chicago State spent on gasoline for their transport bus. Okay. I could send that request in. The school would then have to get back to me within 5 days to acknowledge they got my request. And then they have an additional 5 days to respond to my request, or 7 days. It kind of varies, but they need to respond. They're required to respond. So that's why I was saying earlier, people who are asking a lot of these questions, the requests kind of went in as soon as the deposition and then we got the transcripts. We're just waiting on the responses from Chicago State. But to ask for an investigation, if the public wants to do that, I would definitely reach out to one of the state bodies. In terms of the lawsuit, I'm not a lawyer, so you would have to ask a lawyer that. But what I have heard is that there are individuals in the United States who, Nigerian Americans, who are upset with this whole situation, and perhaps they are organizing to file some type of class action lawsuit against Chicago State to try to get some more answers. That's just something I'm hearing from a lot of people. But as of now, nothing has been filed. So.
Oh yeah, I know
Okay.
about the lawsuit. I'm just asking, like, generally Nigerians in Nigeria. So can they? So let me put it this way. So basically, the two major people they can direct their complaints to is J.B. Pritzker and Raoul.
Those
right?
are your two highest. Those are like two
brilliant.
highest ones, Jim. Them are
All
two
right.
highest ones. Yep.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Thanks. I hope that we can get a coffee over this
Yes,
sometime
no problem,
very
bro.
soon. Bye.
All right, Mr. Gospel, are you ready, sir? You've been so eager to speak. I gave you the mic. You weren't ready. Are you ready now?
Very much. I've been here. I was
All
not the
right.
first speaker. I was so quick to it.
Fire on.
So
You
thanks.
have the floor. You have the floor. Fire on, sir.
Right. Thank you. So my first question is this, Mr. Coyden. So we found that our president, Mr. Tinubu, in his application document, we said that he went to a certain school called Government College Lagos in 1970, graduated in 1970. All we have found out now as the fact is that, in fact, the school was not in existence at the time, meaning that he filed the false information in his application package to Chicago State University. So question is, if the school so wishes to, can they withdraw whatever credentials they've given to him because he lied in his application package, which is now a fact? That is first question. Second question is this: you said rightly that in fact you could create your own certificate as you wish. You could actually buy them fake certificate, whatever you want. But my question is this: can you present this fake certificate you would have created for yourself that did not emanate from the school directly as in part of your application package for a job?
Oh
You know, I
yeah,
mean, you want to apply for a
yeah.
job. Can you file that particular fake document in quote, the one that the school did not mail to you, the one you went to create by yourself? Can you use that particular document as a proof of your certification from a particular school and file as an official document? Then the final one is this:
So
you've told us that sorry, just the
Hold
final one,
on,
it's not the
Mr.
question. What I
Gospel.
can
Hold on, hold on,
okay, sir.
hold on.
Yes.
He's not the enemy here. All right. So, Jay Coyden, you take the first two
I
questions.
think I think I heard the second one better when he was saying
Okay. So,
you can file it for a job. You can try to do it. It's no different than people when they lie on their resume. I mean, you can do it for a job, and if you get the job, you get the job. Now, you know, if your job finds out later on that you lied, they're probably going to fire you in most situations. They may sue you in civil court, but in terms of it being illegal, it may only be in like certain jobs where that would be actually be illegal. But yeah, I just think for the most part they would just fire you. Now he also said something about if you presented a fake document to the court. Now that's a different situation. If you present something false
No,
to
no, no.
court,
Sorry, can I
then you get in
Coyden,
trouble.
Mr.
sorry,
Coyden, Mr. Coyden,
let
can you
me
hear
Yep.
me?
rephrase that.
He asked a question. He said, the secondary school, if you remember, I told you Bola Tinubu on public record when he ran for
Right.
governor
Okay.
said he went to a school called Government College Lagos. Now, the year he said he went to that school or that he finished from was
Mm-hmm.
1970. We later found out that that school was actually created in 1974. So then he uses that 1970 secondary school certificate, which is now fake, to apply to CSU. CSU finding out now that this man's fakeness goes all the way back to even his how he got admitted. What should they do about this particular? What should they do about this particular issue? Mr. Gospel, I hope that's how you phrase your first question, or that's what you meant in your first question.
Mr. Collins, did you get that part? Or should I rephrase
So
that
I know
question?
what the question is. The question is, can Chicago State basically revoke the degree? Because that's the question.
Exactly.
Can the degree be revoked? There have been instances where universities have taken back a degree. It's usually because of plagiarism, where someone presented work which wasn't theirs, they cheated. Some form of academic misconduct can get your degree revoked. Schools typically will revoke degrees like if a crime. Sometimes if it's a crime, honorary degrees they can always revoke because it's not really a degree, but it depends on the particular school, and it's usually detailed in the student handbook. But most of the time, if they're going to revoke a degree, it's because you did something that you committed academic fraud. That's probably the better way to say it. And coming into a university off of false pretenses, to me, sounds like they can do it. But again, I'll keep going back to this. These are questions Chicago State University need to step up and answer, because it's their university. It's their name that's on the line. It's their reputation. They need to be answering these great questions that people are asking.
Very true. Then summarily before I step off, let me just make this point before I step off. Clearly, we find here that there is some sort of collusion and something exactly is going wrong here. For example, you said you can't find the 79-year book, both the physical copy or the virtual copy,
That
right?
is correct.
Like he also said, we've also now established that this man actually made a false claim in his application package to the school. So if the school so wants, really, can the school, press charges against this man? Can they withdraw the certificate again, like I said? Or do you think again that something fishy exactly is going on and that CSU is trying to cover up for something from what you find?
So I'm a journalist. I'm always suspicious. I'm always suspicious on anything. When it comes to Chicago State, I'm absolutely suspicious. None of this is really adding up. You know, can I say definitely what happened? No. And a lot of other people, we're all trying to answer that question, but we're all literally in the same space. Just like we're all in the same space on Twitter, we're all right there. We're like, this doesn't add up. This makes no sense. There are too many inconsistencies here. But until we get some sort of smoking gun, some sort of a witness that steps up. Hey, yeah, I was a marketing major in 1979. I never saw this dude in class before. You know, I thought about reaching out to the professors, but, you know, I have to keep it real with you. It was 1979. Most of the professors are dead, you know, who he would have had at that time. You know, it's just really difficult because of the time.
And if we could find
There
the
you go.
yearbook, we could at least start
There
tracing
you go.
some of those people.
So, I mean, I have currently reached out to a number of people who I've met or who I've known kind of in that class time period. Many of them weren't even aware that this was a situation until I told them. And then when I told them, they're like, yeah, you know, I can't remember. I don't know the people. Oh, you know what? Let me make this point. You know how sometimes you'll have like a class reunion, or I don't know how they do it in Nigeria, but in colleges in the United States, they have homecoming. Do you all have homecoming in Nigeria?
Yeah, we call it a reunion.
Okay,
We have
so
reunions. It's basically
so
the same
most
thing.
colleges here have homecoming, where people who went to school in the past, they come back, you see your old classmates. It's something that's actually really big in the Black American community for people who go to HBCUs, which are historically Black colleges and universities. It's a really big thing, except not at Chicago State. We have a homecoming. None of the alumni go back. And again, this gets back to what I've been saying before. The alumni don't like the school. We don't like the school. We definitely don't give money back to the school. Think about what we're talking about here. For my host, think about what we're talking about here. Do you think I, Jay Coyden, the journalist, is going to actually give Chicago State University any of my money? I don't trust them. I don't trust them. If I was going to give them money back, I would have given it back and I would have earmarked it and said, here is $300, but it needs to go to the school newspaper. That's where I want you to spend the money. And I keep telling people, Chicago State doesn't have a school newspaper. They got rid of it in 2009. After they lost in court because they violate the First Amendment, and they were trying to tell the editor what he could print and what he couldn't print. They lost that lawsuit. And that is again, that's a story that I have on my website. I'm encouraging people, go to the website, read the stories, particularly the one that I posted today before I came on here, because I'm telling you about all the scandals that have taken place there at Chicago State. And I think once you get that idea of what you're dealing with, then you'll be able to say, oh, I see why they can't find no documents. Oh, I see why it's no pictures of the student ID. Oh, I see why they don't have this. It's going to answer a lot of your questions for you just by me telling you how the school operates and the procedures. And a lot of people on Twitter who are responding, I'm reading your messages too, and a lot of them are saying, you know, the same thing, that, you know, this is a university that they need to look at. And I really encourage Jimmy and the other people here to continue to put pressure on Governor Pritzker. I'm going to press on myself because he hasn't released a statement yet. So, you know, I've been kind of waiting because we've got some documents that are going to probably be coming out in the next week or two. But the governor is going to have a lot on his plate here. And I don't know if the president of Chicago State is going to survive this scandal. I don't know if the Board of Trustees of Chicago State are going to survive this scandal, because there is something going on here and everybody knows it, and everybody is like a shark with blood in the water. and we're all looking in different places, and there's no way they can keep just lying to everyone and, oh, we don't know and we're not going to say nothing. They got 200 million people in Nigeria right now who want some answers. And I'm not counting the Nigerian Americans who are here, and they're a very educated demographic in this country. That they're extremely educated, extremely smart. They know how to use all the digital tools like Jimmy. They're going to get their answers. They're going to get them. So I'm trying to tell my former university, look, y'all, whatever y'all had going on, you need to start coming clean with this, because the longer this thing goes, the more people are going to get riled up, the worse you make yourself look. And if you get some sort of law enforcement investigation that comes up at that school, it's going to be over, because they already they've been trying to close the school anyway, especially when your student population has dropped to 1,600 and your campus is designed for 9,000. It's not going to work, Chicago State. And I've been writing about my university for over 25 years, y'all. So I'm telling you, I know how they operate. This is par for the course for them. But I think this time, this might be the one. This might be the one that literally takes this university down, because you're talking about a potential international scandal and a potential that someone used a non-legit document claiming from your institution and got to the highest office in the land in the largest country on the continent of Africa. I'm sorry. That's just too big. We ain't talking about some small country in Africa. We talking about freaking Nigeria. And there's a whole lot of Nigerian Americans right here in Chicago, and they are not happy. I know it because they messaging me. I'm getting messages from people, I don't even know who they are. They are not happy. They are lawyers. They are doctors. They are engineers. They are school teachers. They are journalists. They're not happy. They are going to come for Chicago State. So that president, that board of trustees, this governor, this attorney general, they need to understand the seriousness of this situation, because this institution is in some serious trouble. Some serious trouble. And, I think that's kind of how I want to end the interview here. It's been a pleasure being with you guys for the last 2 hours. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to stay on this case. I work multiple stories, so this is not the only story I'm doing, but there are so many. I can't tell you how many journalists are working. I'm kind of vocal about it because I was kind of like the first one over here to talk about it. But there are so many journalists who reached out to me because they read my article, and now they're doing their own investigations. But they're not telling you about it. They're not going to come on and talk about it. They don't need to. They're working behind the scenes. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, where's CNN? Where's Fox? Where is this? Look, they usually come late to the party anyway. So and right now they got their hands tied up with what's going on in the Gaza Strip. But there are a lot of people looking at Chicago State. I don't know how that president is sleeping at night, to be honest. I don't know how she's doing it, because the amount of stress that has got to be on her plate right now and got to be on the plate of the board of trustees, and the stress that should be on the governor of this state, J.B. Pritzker, who wants to run for president in 5 years. This is the type of stuff that will not let you get elected to president of the United States. So I think people who want answers need to continue to reach out to those individuals, starting with the president of the Chicago State, secondary with the board of trustees of Chicago State, third with the attorney general of the state of Illinois, Kwame Raoul, and lastly, the governor of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker. I think if you all put pressure on those four entities all at once, you will get the answers that you are looking for.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. J. Coyden. You have been an absolute blessing to us. Thank you for your time you've taken out. I know we we took you a bit off the radar, but all your answers have been perfect. They have been on point, and we honestly do appreciate you. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's favorite statement during the elections was snatch it, grab it, and run with it. Those elections were one of the worst elections in Nigeria's history, and it is so crazy that we don't know his dad's name, his mom's name. We don't know his real name. There are so many discrepancies with this fellow, and he ended up somehow president of Nigeria against every single constitutional law we have. Thank you for helping us out, and I wish you the best with your further digging on this issue. Thank you, everyone, for joining Parallel Facts. Thank you to my co-host, Gloria Eyo Maduka. Thank you to everyone who helps out on the back end, and thank you to all our speakers. I'm so sorry we had a time limit with Mr. Coyden, and he has even been gracious to go beyond that. We will do a lot more discussions on the back end. Thank you very much. God bless all of you. God bless Nigeria, and God bless the Obedient Movement and every well-meaning Nigerian as well. We appreciate all of you for being with us. Follow Parallel Facts. A lot more of these interviews will be coming up as time goes on, and you don't want to miss it. Follow Parallel Facts one more time. We appreciate you all. God bless you.
Wow. That was a great interview, man. To me, it was detailed. It was really detailed. As it was really detailed. You know, and I hope you guys heard. You guys heard everything. I mean, I properly played this so that we know what the more details, know the facts. We try to know the facts. If you are arguing, you know what you are arguing for. I propose to play it. Oh, okay. Thank you, Paradise Facts. You guys are doing great job, Paradise Facts, man. Thank you for unveiling. I use that word, unveiling the truth. That is, we need the facts right now, man. We need it, and all the obedient family, please stay on course, man. Stay on course. Don't give up. The battle is a long battle, and I pray for all Nigerians, not just obedient, all Nigerians. We want a good country. I will pray for His Excellency Peter Obi also. Let's hope for the best. Okay, so guys, keep on the dream. Keep it on. Those in diaspora, keep it on. Let's keep on pushing. Let's keep on. Let's keep on talking, because it's important for you to talk. If you don't talk, these guys will keep on, riding on us. Okay, so let's keep on the talk. Let's keep on pushing. You can never know. Okay, I believe in the power of voice. I believe information. Bring it out. Don't be quiet. If you have any information, bring it out. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. No. Don't be scared of anything at all. When you know the fact, when you know it is true, bring it out. We don't want to don't lie, okay? Just bring out the facts and say it. Okay? That is it. And say it. That is fact that will help the people, that will help the country. We want our country back. We want to retire these people that are self-centered, that don't want the interest of Nigeria at heart. I always believe, I don't have nothing against Tinubu, man. I have nothing against all these people. What I believe in the rule of law. I believe in having a good foundation. You can't continue to live like this. You cannot build a country on a faulty foundation. It's not done. How will you? How? For how long? We've been doing this for a long time. We've been managing. Say, okay, let's be it. No. Enough is enough. And now is the time for us to do it. And just under a year, see what Obedient did. So we are hoping to have a good time, to have a better country. That will be good for you, good for the Yorubas, good for the Igbos, for the Shekuris, for the Hausa, for the Fulanis, for the Edos, for ABBs, for everyone. That's what we are preaching. That's what we are saying. And that's what we will achieve. We will achieve by the power of the Holy Spirit. We achieve it. We achieve it in Jesus' name. We achieve it. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to stop here for now. I will do a rebroadcast of this thing. I will do it. Okay. I'm going to do it. I will do it. Pray for Nigeria. Always pray for Nigeria. Okay. Pray for our leaders. Pray for them. Pray for them. Pray for them. Pray for them so that they will have the mind. Those that are entered there, they will have the mind to resign, to leave, to resign, or to, you know. Anyway, that is it. All right. All right, guys. I will go for now. Thank you so much for watching the Diaspora Network. Hope to be coming here every now and then. Right now on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube channels, about 2 YouTube channels, you know. That is it. So kindly like, share, okay? And subscribe to our YouTube channel, because just please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need to grow. We need to grow that YouTube channel seriously, man. We need to grow it. We need to grow it, okay? And thank you all the fans. And I believe in collaboration, okay? If you want to join me on this live stream, feel free, inbox me, write me. I think my number is there. Write me, okay? Inbox me, okay? We want to better Nigeria. It doesn't matter if you believe my ideas, okay? You can bring your ideas, it doesn't matter, because in a family we have different ideas. That is the truth. I don't say you must buy my ideas, no. So we come, we iron it out, we reason together, because men reason, okay? Men reason, men don't fight with the reason. So you come, we raise it together. It's your own good, my own good, is better. We take it. We want the best for the country, okay? People are saying, why this Chicago stuff? We are disgracing country. Why this? We should lie low. Why should we lie low? We want a good foundation. We will see to the end. We will see to the end, okay? We'll see to the end. We are not giving in. We are not giving up, because quitters don't win, and quitters don't win. And we are winners, okay? We always win, and we will never quit, okay? All right. Good night, all. God bless you.